lesson number 4, more work with parallel lines cut by a transversal. And you can see kind of, I looked for a little image to spice up today's class, little leading image, if you will. And we've got like a little tiny mini waterfall over here. And then we've got a waterfall in the back coming off the ledges, and they're kind of parallel there. So try to work it out. All right, next up, daily agenda. What are we covering today? Well, as always, we'll begin with some review questions. Then we'll talk about why the 3 angles of a triangle add up to 180. And a big aspect of Euclidean geometry is the concept of proof and proving things. And this will be our first foray into that particular area. Next, the 3 angles of a triangle problems. And then we got some more diagrams and algebraic applications. And finally, we have a quiz that we're going to have to take. Here's our first 2 questions. Let's do stop and start. Okay, so in the first case, we have these 2 angles together. They're supplementary, as it says in the words in the problem, which that means 180 right there. But on top of that, we got 2 angles that, as I just traced with my cursor, make a half a circle, and that half a circle is 180 degrees. So I add them up. 6n plus 13 plus n minus 1 is 180. Same side, same operation. Let's do some combining of like terms. That would give me 7n plus 12 is 180. Subtracting the 12, I get 7n is 168. Dividing by 7, and ding, 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 n is equal to 24. Second problem is like unto the first. You add them up and you get 180. So I do that, and combining like terms here, I get 10n plus 10. This should say 3n plus 4. Let's do that correction, or when I've made other mistakes. And the big thing, we correct them as quickly as we can. So this is the first one all solved out. And now we have 3n plus 4, which is what it should have said, plus 7n plus 6 is 180. And when I combine like terms, same side, same operation, 3n's and 7n's is 10n's, 4 and 6 make 10. Subtracting 10 from both sides, 10n is 170. Dividing by 10, I get n is 17. So there's some practice with some supplementary ones and algebraic applications of supplementary. Here are 3 to solve. Go ahead. Okay. What's the supplement of a 51-degree angle? 180 minus 51 is 129. Or we can think of it as 51 plus 129 is equal to 180. Number 2, 2 supplementary angles can be represented by n minus 5 and n minus 3. Well, it says they're supplementary, so we have to add up to 180. 2n minus 8 is 180. 2n is 188. Dividing by 2, and n is 94. It wants the larger angle, though. It doesn't want just n. As Mr. Braze would say, ow, what are we looking for? 94 minus 3 is 91. Next, number 3, the measures of 2 complementary angles are in the ratio of 4 to 5. Complementary and ratio, that means we automatically start thinking about 90 degrees and 4n and 5n. So 4n plus 5n is 180. That means 9n is 180. Dividing by 9, n is 20. Oh, what are we looking for? We're looking for the smaller angle. That's the, oh, I made a mistake here. I made 2 mistakes here. Would you look at this? In the problem. And then I did not change it in here, which means this only works out to be 10. And the other mistake I made was that this is 4 times 10, which is 40. So let's go right back to play. Okay. Crank on through there. Now let's get back to this. Whenever 2 angles are in a ratio, that means they share something in common. When any 2 things are in ratios, it doesn't have to be angles. Any things are in a ratio, they share something in common. What that common thing is, I'm not sure, but I think it's n. So well, I'm going to call it n, whatever I think it is. So, and complementary means that they add up to 90. So 4n plus 5n is 90, not 180, which before I had the same problem said supplementary. So I just changed from supplementary to complementary, but forgot to change the number. Shame on me. 4n plus 5n is 90. combined like terms, 9n is 90. Dividing by 9, n is 10. It wants the smaller angle. That's 4n, so 4 times 10 is 40. All right, you're up. Go ahead. What we're looking for here, go ahead. We'll stop and start. Okay, so we know that 1 is equal to 3. So 3 will also be 125. And we know that 1 and 2 together make a half a circle, so they'll be 180 degrees. They are supplementary, and that is 55. Okay. Another exercise. Go ahead, give it a shot. A little stop and start time as usual. Okay, so we got to add these two guys up, and when we do, they're going to make a right angle, which is 90 degrees. So the 3x plus 2 plus the x plus 8 is going to add up to 90. Same side, same operation, aka combining like terms. 3x and x makes 4x, 2 and 8 makes 10. Subtract 10 from both sides. 4x is 80, divide by 4, and x is 20. But that only answers the first part of this, which says find x. Then they ask for the measure of angle AOB and the measure of angle COB. I'm going to choose to do COB first. That's 3 times 20, because it says 3x plus 2. So 3 times x is 20. 3 times 20 plus 2 is 62. And the measure of angle AOB is x plus 8. So that's 20 plus 8, which is 28. And I always like the fact that I can check my work. And with that quick check, I could say, oh yeah, well, you know what? 62 and 28 do add up to 90. So I think I nailed it. Okay. Next up, what we have here is a diagram. It tells you those two angles are 51 and 43. Find the measure of each angle. Go ahead, stop and start. Okay, so what do we have going on here? Well, we're going to find the measure of angle V first. And the reason I'm going to do V is, if you notice, we have a little right angle here. So 51 and B are complementary. So 90 minus 51 is 39. And I can use the same strategy to find Z, except this time the other angle is 43. So 90 minus 43 is 47. Now, what I notice next is that W is vertical to Z. They're equal to each other. So W is also 47. I don't know why it says 39. It should say 47. I think I have these backwards. This is going to be 47. And this is going to be 39. So let's get back to play from Kerm. V was 39. And Z was 47. Now you'll notice next it asks for the measure of angle W. And W is across from Z. It's vertical to Z, so it will equal Z. It's 47. Y, on the other hand, is vertical to V. So it will equal the measure of angle V, because vertical angles are congruent or equal. And V was 39, so Y will be 39. Now how do we find X? Well, on the bottom here, all three of these make a straight line. So that means they add up to 180. So it's going to be 180 minus whatever W and Y add up to. So if W and Y are 39 and 47, we add them up, we take it away from 180, and that's 94. It's a good example, too, of when to use parentheses and how important they can be. All right, so there's our review work. And I made a couple of mistakes, but I think I've said it before, I think it's a good thing when you see that mistakes are made and how you can catch them when they're being made and then go back and correct them pretty simply.